If you're tired of living on Earth and craving an adventure into the grace expanse of space, your dreams might soon become a reality. An unprecedented boom is currently taking place in the space sector. New, smaller rocket startups continue to spring up as industry behemoths make their first jumps and crewed trips into space, adding to the growing frenzy to get to space faster, cheaper, and better. While almost everyone knows about Elon Musk's big dream for Mars, it looks like he has some intense competition. There's a new partnership brewing that may just upend his plans. Relativity Space Inc., the first organization to 3D print complete rockets and construct the largest metal 3D printers in the world, and Impulse Space Inc., the company leading the development of in-space transportation services for the inner solar system, recently announced a groundbreaking partnership and launched a mission to send the first commercial payload to Mars. The historic alliance quickly advances the firm's common vision of a multiplanetary existence for humanity, with a launch window scheduled to begin in 2024. According to the contract, Relativity will launch Impulse's Mars cruise vehicle and Mars lander in Terrain R only from Cape Canaveral, Florida, until 2029. The Mars cruise vehicle and Mars lander from Impulse will be delivered by Terrain R on a trans-Mars injection orbit that is launched from Earth to Mars. The aeroshell-equipped Mars lander will enter Mars's atmosphere after entering its orbit and then propulsively land on the surface of the red planet. The Mars lander from Impulse will be able to carry its own cargo to the Martian surface, enabling the research and development required to prepare humanity for a multiplanetary future. Tim Ellis and Jordan Noon, two young aerospace engineers with the brilliant idea to design entirely 3D printed rockets, established Relativity in 2015. Ellis says that Noon and he were both working on the Dragon capsule at SpaceX and Blue Origin prior to the founding of Relativity. In early 2024, Relativity plans to launch its Terrain 1 rocket, a two-stage, entirely 3D printed rocket, into space as a test flight to demonstrate its viability. This will be the first rocket launch made entirely of 3D printed parts. For the first flight, we are almost there. Of course, it's thrilling because no one has ever done it before, CEO and co-founder Ellis stated to Space.com in August 2021. We'll start by launching our first rocket and work our way up from there. The Terrain system. Two-stage launch vehicle Terrain 1 is entirely 3D printed. Ellis claims that the rocket is not just the first entirely 3D printed thing, but also the largest metal 3D printed object ever created. The entire primary construction of Terrain 1 is printed, according to Ellis, and it is 110 feet tall and 7.5 feet in diameter. According to Relativity, Terrain 1 is capable of delivering cargo to low Earth orbit weighing a maximum of 2,756 pounds. He declared, "This is totally unheard of stuff." Ellis stated that despite this, we feel quite secure about it. Relativity's first rocket is the Terrain 1, but the business is already hard at work on the Terrain R, which is fully 3D printed and entirely reusable. This represents a significant improvement from the disposable Terrain 1. According to the manufacturer, the Terrain R's first stage, second stage, and payload fairing will all be reusable. The corporation unveiled the new two-stage rocket in June 2021, and it plans to start using it for launches in 2024. In addition to being reusable, Terrain R is significantly larger and has far greater carrying capacity. With a height of 216 feet and a width of 16 feet, Terrain R can carry more than 44,100 pounds into low Earth orbit. Both rockets are anticipated to launch from a launch pad at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on the Florida coast. Choosing 3D print rockets. Automation and software-driven technologies have been embraced by many other industries, according to Ellis. Really, that is all I think 3D printing is. Actually, it's basically a technology for automation that combines a huge number of pieces. So our objective is to make rockets with 100 times fewer parts. Ellis compared the Relativity plan to the early days of the space industry. Since space travel began with Apollo, the fundamental tenet of aerospace has remained mostly constant. He said, "We're still hand-assembling items one at a time in these massive factories, full of fixed tooling with hundreds of thousands to millions of individual pieces, all throughout a highly convoluted supply chain. It's still true today as it was 60 years ago." Contrarily, according to Ellis, 3D printing simplifies the supply chain where our entire launch vehicle is only created with 4 raw metals. adding that the method also enables the business to respond fast as its rockets advance. In the end, 3D printing, according to Ellis, will be the holy grail of automation for aerospace. Relativity is by no means the first manufacturer of rockets to use 3D printing technology. Ellis contributed to the development of Blue Origin's printing capabilities while he was there. Businesses like SpaceX, Boeing, and Blue Origin have integrated 3D printed parts. However, the organization has 3D printing capabilities that are unparalleled in scope. Josh Brost, Vice President of Business Development at Relativity, gave Space.com a tour of the company's offices and printing plant in California in 2021 and demonstrated how the business is attempting to operate differently. Brost demonstrated the 3D printing of a Terrain R during the tour. Relativity is working on printing large sections of a rocket all in one piece, drastically reducing the number of individual pieces used. Earlier applications of 3D printing in aerospace have seen small components printed for use within a system. The business anticipates that this technology will streamline and improve the efficiency of the rocket assembly process. According to Brost, the demand for launch vehicles is rising swiftly due to the increasing number of businesses wishing to launch their own satellite constellations, developing technology, and other factors. According to Brost, there is a perception in the market that there isn't enough capacity for economical, dependable, and timely launches to meet everyone's needs. Relativity believes that its distinctive approach can give the company a significant advantage in terms of everything from cost to how long it takes to build a rocket from scratch, with fewer parts, steps, and raw materials required. When long lead hardware needs to be purchased, Brost stated, a typical rocket takes on the order of 2 years to manufacture. Therefore, we strive to be able to launch a vehicle in less than 60 days from the time raw materials enter the door. Additionally, the market is beginning to pay attention to what Relativity offers. The business received considerable financial backing from investors in 2021. The company's market value was estimated to be $2.3 billion in November 2020, and Ellis told Space.com in August 2021 that we've raised roughly $1.2 billion over the previous 8 months or so. 3D printing on Mars. Ellis hopes that Relativity's work will someday be seen on the red surface of Mars, even though the company's maiden launch will put its technology to the test. According to Ellis, the thought of making humanity multiplanetary and traveling to Mars served as his inspiration. But as he pointed out, it will be difficult for us to make this goal a reality. He added that sending humans to Mars necessitates that we consider everything from launching off Earth to generating power, building new infrastructure, growing food, and more. We are literally talking about replicating an entire planet with millions of people, he said. Ellis is already aware of the potential applications of Relativity's capabilities on Mars. To develop an industrial basis, he believed that 3D printing was inevitable. I believe that the future on Mars and living on other planets won't happen unless some company is the one that figures out how to build an industrial base with a high rate of automation and very little touch labor, because that's exactly the situation we'll be in on another planet, said one business executive. Ellis continued that he aspires for this future even if Relativity isn't the one who makes it happen, and that his desire of assisting mankind in becoming a multiplanetary species isn't just related to his business. He remarked, I do think what we're doing is crucial for the future of humanity, whether we're the ones to do it or not. It must happen someday, so that is what convinces Relativity that this is the proper goal. Looks like the future will be here sooner than we expected. Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below.